Hey everybody, Matt here with Take Roads Less Traveled, and today on the Avalanche we are adding a winch. That is right, self-recovery is in the works, and a winch is the best way that you can do that. Now there's a lot of options when it comes to winches, but general rule of thumb is when it comes to your winch rating, you want to be between 1 and 2 times your vehicle weight. Now the Avalanche weighs about 5,700 pounds and everything, so I went with a 9,500 pound winch. That's a little bit under 2 times that amount, but 12,000 pound winch just felt like it would be overkill for what I do. So let's get right to it. I've got the winch mounted to the hidden winch mount, and now we're gonna get it under the truck. So this is something that I already did, so I apologize. But if you have the front splash guard, you're gonna need to take that out. So get you underneath here. You can see, so the mount attaches to this cross member right here with two 15 millimeters, and then it attaches right up here. You can see right here, two 15 millimeters that it attaches to as well. And take those out, and that plastic splash guard is going to come out. You're going to need that open so that you have room for the winch to sit right in here. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take an 18 millimeter bolt right there at your tow hook, and you're going to remove that from both sides. Again, that's an 18 millimeter. Just pull that out from the tow hook. And now we're ready to get this winch put up into place. All right, I've got the winch on a small jack to lift it up into place, make things easier. These front holes on both sides right here, that one right there, and then this one right here, those need to line up with your tow hook mount bolts. So we're just going to lift this up into place, and then we're going to take the bolts we pulled out for the tow hook, this one right here, and we're going to fasten this mount with the winch on it up into place using those. All right everybody, so you can see I'm not lined up here yet, but what I had to do, I noticed there's a small plastic gusset right here on this tow hook piece, and I ended up having to trim some of this gusset off in order to be able to get the winch mount to sit in where it should. Had to do that on both sides, so you might have to play around with it a little bit, but I just took a little zip tool and just ran it, got the winch out of the way, and just cut it along the top, and then right along right here, and did that on both sides. And so now I can get this lined up and get it bolted in on these front bolts. All right, so I've got those front bolts that are the tow hook bolts in place. Now I already did this, but you guys will be able to see it. These back 2 holes on both sides for this mount, you're gonna take and drill a 5/16 hole up through the frame. I just took and I sharpened a bit up a little bit just to make sure, and it took me maybe 5 minutes to do all 4 holes, 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. And then you're gonna run your hardware up through here. But what's nice is that Rough Country has given something really easy when it comes to this, and that is here we go, it's these. It's a little nut with a tab on it. Now this may not seem like much, but this is huge, because let me show you guys this. All you're gonna do is take this, so it's like that, and run it up through, and then you line it up, and that gives you something to hold the nut in place while you put the bolt in. And there's one for each of those holes, so really easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that hardware put in, and then we'll cut the front valence. Hardware is in with these bolts that have that little tab on it. Makes it real easy. Everything's been torqued to spec, so winch mount isn't going anywhere. Now I apologize guys, I meant to grab the camera and I didn't, but you can see I've already cut my front valence. So all I did was I took, and so this is usually covered up by the rest of the front valence without a hole. They have kind of a complicated way of doing it from the front. I actually just took a Sharpie marker, put it through the fair lead bolt holes, and just marked the plastic, dropped the winch out, drilled 2 holes through so that I knew where my plastic was, and then came around to the front, and where those holes were in the front valance, I just took my fair lead and put it up to it, traced around it, and then took that little zip tool that I've got and cut the opening in the valance. So now I can get my fair lead mounted up. So all we're gonna do is we'll run our line right here. We'll run our line through, put the fair lead on, and then get everything squared away with the wiring. All right, fair lead is bolted in. These are 18 millimeter on the front and 3/4 or 19 millimeter on the back for the nuts to hold that. So now we just gotta put our hook on and run it over to our tow hook to retain it, and then we'll do the wiring. So all this is you just have to take the hook, and I don't know if I can do this one-handed or not. I'm trying to hold the camera. Yeah, that might work. Put a little line out. So just put your hook through, run bolts in, reverse that for you guys so you can see, and then cotter pin goes in, just like that, and then you're just going to take and fold each side of this cotter pin back in order to hold it, which I can't really do one-handed, and I'm trying to hold the camera. So anyway, so yeah, that'll be the rest of the winch install, and then we just got to do the wiring. All right, so for the wiring, the first thing you're gonna do is the mount comes with this bracket that goes onto the fender retainer and behind the radiator bolt. And what that does is that lets you bolt your extension for your controller up. So you'll have your controller access right there. That way you're not having to reach all the way underneath and plug it in. But this is an extension cord or an extender that comes with the mount kit, so that you can run your control up here. And like I said, all I did is I just dropped it through. We got to go underneath and hook it up to the winch. So let's do that, and then we'll run our power and our ground. So let's see here. All right, so you guys, there we go. So there's the control. So we're just gonna take this plug and it's gonna go in just like that. There we go. And then we'll take up this slack, zip tie it up higher up along with these power and ground lines. So there's that. So let's get those run up into the engine compartment. We've got wiring ran up into the engine bay. So you can see right here. Now, because I still have a side post battery and I don't have a secondary battery, this lead I actually took a Dremel tool to it and opened it up quite a bit. And the reason for that is because I cover this box up because I'm actually going to attach onto this stud right here. This is a 17 millimeter nut that will need to come off, and then that lead is just going to go right onto there, and then the nut will go back on. For the ground, I'm actually going to take, and I've got the ground right here, I'm going to take and I'm going to run this over to this ground right here where I've already taken the nut off of it. That's a 10 millimeter, and that is where your hood strap goes. So like I said, I'm going to put the ground here, put the hood strap ground back on, and then I'll put that 10 millimeter nut back on, and that will give us power to the winch after I hook the battery back up. And with that all done, that is how you install the winch. These hidden winches on, let's see here, there we go. These hidden winches on these first gen Avalanches without the body hardware. Now, I don't know if this will work on ones with the body hardware or not, with all the cladding, but I do know that it works on first-gen Avalanches without it. Despite Rough Country site saying that the winch is not going to fit, it does fit, and it fits perfectly well. So I hope this helps you guys out, and we will see you on the roads less traveled.